is just sort of... Okay, we are live again. Third time. Let's hope this is the charm. So I'm going to... Do you see me? Okay, I'm going to tag you and see if that helps. I heard a buzz.
Yeah.
We're just on the phone, and now I've got somebody popping in. Janet. Hi, Janet. You would not believe what we've been going through. This is like third time we've been trying to get connected here, trying to get Sherry on Facebook or something. Hi, Sharon. So we'll see what happens. Oh, I got a thumbs up. Thank you. So, oh my goodness. Are you on your phone now?
I'm on my phone. I just can't find your video.
Well, you just have to go into the group.
I am.
And I should be live.
Short. Recent.
So you can go into the group, and if you... Yeah.
There you are.
I'm showing live right now in there. There we go. Now, yay! It worked.
Oh, okay, so it's...
It is. It's the laptop. So I'm glad we came off the laptop because we couldn't even figure out the other. So I'm adding you right now. So hopefully we can get you on. Oh my goodness. Third time the charm. There we go. Ding. There you are.
Hi. Sorry.
Okay, I'm going to hang up.
Okay.
Okay, so we have to be on the phone with each other so we can... Now she's trying to jimmy her phone so that she can actually keep it... There we go. If you can keep it there, you're golden.
Yeah, I just don't want to hold it. I have to find something.
You'll get a...
Find it just to kind of brace it. Oh my.
You need to... Yeah, this is what you need. You need to get one of these. These
I do
are
need to get, yes.
fabulous. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what you need.
Okay.
That's the gift you need to get. So right now I've got 2 cell phones, iPad, and my Chromebook. So we finally got it together. So hey Ruth. So thank you to everybody for your patience as we have been trying to get all of this taken care of as we are figuring out what's going on. So I think we got it now. So I'll let Sherry just jimmy around with the phone until she gets that. So thanks everyone for popping on. We're just in the middle of trying to get this testimonial set up, but we had some technical issues. Oh, I think she's found a spot that works really well.
I did, yes. It's
Now
better,
we see
yes.
now we see you, not just like this up.
I was gonna say, yeah.
So that's perfect. So thanks everyone for jumping on, and so sorry if I lost the other few ladies that came on and had to jump off again. Morning, Penny. Thanks for joining. So I have Sherry Snyder with me this morning. She is one of the first ladies that has gone through the Cracking the Menopause Code method. And I'm so excited because she's just been amazing to work with, and she's really done such a great job in the program. So I wanted to bring her on and just give you a little bit of highlights as to what it looks like, what the program's about. Hi, Sharon. Oh, thanks, Penny. My hair looks fabulous. You know what? Sorry, little side thing here. A week ago, my hair was green. It was green. I did this henna thing. I was trying to go natural, no chemicals, and yeah, don't do it, ladies. Stay away from henna. It made my hair green. This is I think I colored my hair 4 times in the last 2 weeks. So it's not been great, but I'm quite happy with this color. So thanks for commenting. So we have a few things that we want to go through. I have some questions that I have for Sherry. And so for just a quick recap, is the Cracking the Menopause Code method is my 12-week wellness program that really takes you from the fundamentals of what's going on with you while you're navigating menopause, and all the different steps that you can take and apply in your life to come out of the other end feeling significantly better and getting your hormones balanced and getting yourself in a much better happier, more authentic you place. It's really a transformation process. And so it's where I guide you through various different modules as well as weekly coaching calls to help you stay on track and get you out the other side where you're feeling a lot better. You're not struggling as much with your symptoms. Hi, Kathy. Thanks for joining. So when did you start? Do you remember, Sherry? Was it?
I think it was November.
Yeah, I think it was
October.
November.
October.
It's 3 months. And you just finished when? Last week? A week or so? 2 weeks
It
ago?
was a couple weeks ago, yeah. Yeah, it was
So-
just, I finished the last module just after Christmas and I took a week off, right? Like
Yeah.
I took off that week. So
Yeah.
it was just, yeah, it was the first week of January.
Yeah,
where I
that's
finished
right.
it.
So what was so tell me why you looked at cracking the menopause code method as an option for you. So where were you at that point? What was going on in your life that you decided that you needed to take this investment as well as this step?
Okay, well, first of all, I had a hysterectomy 10 years ago, so with one ovary left in. So I've been going through the process for quite a few years. And despite what people tell you about, you know, it being a quick process, it's really not. I'm a pretty active or very active person. It's part of my life. I don't want to give up. And I found last year things were changing within me. So I had more swelling. My joints were aching. I was putting on weight. But the biggest thing that I found frustrating was the lack of energy and always feeling exhausted. And week after week, month after month, you say, okay, well, after this good night's sleep, which you don't have, I'll feel better. And I just knew I needed to have a change. And I didn't know how to start or what the change was, because I didn't really know what I was doing wrong or what my body was going through that I felt the way I felt. Yeah, I joined the group when it first started. I definitely trust Sarah for the information and the knowledge that she has to help me go through this process. And so after some careful thought, I decided to join. And
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really glad you did too. Thank you for that, because I think you raised a couple of really good points. One of the things is that you didn't really know what was going on, and you didn't really know how you could fix that. And you were sort of thinking, well, if I just do this, or if I just get that one night's sleep, or if I just make these changes, then I'll kind of like align back in again. And that wasn't happening for you.
Yeah.
So it's frustrating.
Yes.
I just want to say hi to the other two ladies that just joined in. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so can you, you were talking about fatigue, achy joints, some, when you say swelling, were you talking about like some inflammation, water retention?
Water retention, my legs would swell up really huge, which I attributed to the pain in my joints, but then I started getting pain in my joints in other areas besides my legs.
Yeah,
but sometimes by the end of the day, my legs were pretty swollen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a issue for me, and then it made my feet hurt. But it just makes you feel like the more it goes on, the worse I felt.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the more tired I became, like I just couldn't get out of that cycle.
Yeah. So you decided you want to take some action, like you said, and this is an online format. So it is 12 weeks of online work. And how did you find that? Because not everyone considers themselves tech savvy. And did you find that it was difficult to navigate through the program?
I did not find it difficult to go through the program. You go into the first step. The only thing is the first week I went into the first step, and then you have to scroll down to the bottom to get to the video and then to the download information. Once I figured that out, yeah, it was very easy to use.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so just the way the layout of the program, as you move through the modules, you think that you have to look over to the one side, but you have to go back up to the top. So it can be a bit confusing, yeah, right at the beginning. So you didn't find
sorry.
Go ahead.
I had no issues navigating through it, downloading it, or watching the videos.
Awesome.
I had no issues.
Great, great. So do you consider yourself really tech savvy and stuff like that? Or do you find that you're just pretty found it intuitive?
I wouldn't call myself tech savvy.
Yeah.
I still have to go to Rick sometimes for
Yeah.
if something goes wrong. If something goes wrong, yeah, I probably need to have help. But no, I got through it without having to
Perfect.
even ask you. I figured
Yeah.
it out, and then after that, it was a breeze.
Yeah, once we talked about what you needed to do, yeah, you were running. So how many weeks did you find that you committed to the program? And did you find it sort of overwhelming or burdening? Like, did you find the whole process in terms of timing and navigating through it easy to manage in terms of your schedule?
My schedule, going through the weeks was not time consuming at all. I just put a noise canceling headset on, and I would listen to the videos. Sometimes I would go through them twice if there was a lot of information, especially through the hormone one. But that part of it wasn't time consuming at all. Actually, it took very little time. The only part I found challenging, and it was just me, was and the COVID and grocery shopping, was organizing myself for menu planning and getting the
Yeah.
supplies that I needed when we were only going, like, we weren't going to the grocery store like every week. We were kind of planning. So just getting that organized. But once I got to a point where I had everything here and I started doing different recipes, yeah, it was
It was
great.
pretty straightforward, yeah.
Yeah.
And you found the modules easy to, like, if you couldn't go through the module, you were easy to come back to it, pick it back up when you had the time again.
Oh, for sure. Yes.
Perfect. So did you find, so part of this program also incorporates a weekly coaching, and it's designed to be a group coaching call, but right now, when you come into the Cracking the Menopause Code method, it's you. So it's a one-on-one with me on a weekly basis. And how did you find those coaching calls? Did you find that they kind of kept you on track? Did you find that they were helpful to have a touch point on a weekly basis?
Every week I had actually a question, something
Yeah.
that you helped to get me back on track or to make a decision about something that I needed to decide on. So yeah, I think the coaching sessions are valuable. It helped me understand better if there was some confusion, because it, like, when you get into the hormones and that, there's a little bit of, it's a lot of information to absorb in. But definitely every week I had some form of question for you
Yeah.
when we had it. And
Which
yes,
was great.
I was lucky enough to be the first and benefit from the one-on-one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and right now it's very, very small. So the one-on-one is what you'll be getting. So it's an even more valuable asset to the program, because you're not having to share me with 10, 12 other women. So it's really an awesome. And I have the flexibility to go into the group. I know that in our group we have a lot of UK women. So time-wise, as the more women come into the group, into the program, I will do probably 2 coaching calls a week so that I can accommodate for different time frames, and I'm not having a large group of ladies chatting. I want to make it as intimate and as personal as possible. So it really is valuable to have that.
I like to say that for next steps, there was times where when we chatted, I had some next steps in mind and not knowing how I should proceed with that, and it was helpful to get your opinion on that.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure.
And it's also great for me because I need to know where you are. I need to know where are you in this process, and how far have you journeyed through it, and how are you feeling? Are you still feeling the way you were, or are you starting to see improvements? And based on where you are, then I can make the recommendations as to where you should move forward from there. So that's why it's so valuable to have that time to chat. So that's great. So part of the program that we start, when you first start out, the first thing you need to do is set 3 goals. And that sort of anchors you for how you're moving forward throughout the whole 12 weeks, what you want to achieve, where do you want to be at the end of the transformation. And so what were your 3 goals that you set for yourself at the very beginning of the program, if you don't mind sharing?
No, I don't mind sharing. The first one was obviously improved energy, to feel much better than I was. The second one was to reduce hot flashes and night sweats, so I could have better sleeps, because that just impacts concentration and my work and everything around me. And then reduce stress. And, you know, feeling that way just added more stress. And so that's one thing that I thought I can't 100% control the stress at work, but I can definitely control how I feel and what
Yes.
I'm doing to help reduce that portion of the stress.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. Okay, great. So the Cracking the Menopause Code method is set up in a module layout. So each week there are modules that you need to go through under different, oh gosh, the word's just going out of my head. They're different categories, I guess, for lack of a better word, where you focus on. So we've got like hormones, we focus on sleep, stress, all the different major symptoms that you can experience. So how many of this, out of all the modules that you did do, what was your favorite section? Like what did you by far learn the most, or where you saw the most change? Or was it was it a process, or did you really sort of have an aha moment throughout the program?
I don't think I can pin it down to like one module. I think it was a combination of all the different steps that I took that led me to the change that I seen. I don't know where in the weeks while we were going through it that, you know, things started to change, and I didn't realize it until I started to look back and go, oh yeah, okay, now I am feeling better. And yeah, Rick and I have been walking every night for 2 weeks, and it was like kind of a aha moment. So I don't think it was one thing that I learned the most. I think there was a number of different things I actually learned from the program. Things that actually surprised me, that you know, things that I was eating or doing that I thought I was doing the right thing and I was not.
Yeah, that's an interesting observation, because I think a lot of us think we are doing the right thing. We are eating the right way, we're exercising the right way. And it's not until you sort of take a deep dive into what that looks like do you realize, okay, maybe I wasn't doing what was best for me, what I thought was right for me, what maybe wasn't. And it gives you a chance to sort of really deep dive into what you're doing, and options that you can make to implement that change, right?
Yeah, like I was told by a few people, like cut out coffee, because that you find out what your triggers are, right? And I think everybody must be different, because I was told cut out my morning coffee. That's a tough one for me. I don't want to give it up. That is not what I need to give up. There was other things in my diet that I was, or what I was eating that was
Yeah.
actually contributing to the hot flashes and the night sweats. And it wasn't necessarily coffee. So I haven't had to give that up yet.
Which is huge, right? Like that's some things we don't want to give up. And then you find out, actually, I didn't even have to, because that's not what's bothering me. It was something completely different. And that's part of the program. This isn't designed to take things away from you and lead a life that's restrictive so that you never get a hot flash again. You will get them. What we want to try and do is reduce the intensity and the frequency. You can't eliminate what your body's going through. What it's doing is it's taking you from a highly fluctuating hormonal status to a more even keel status of your hormones. So I'm glad to hear that you didn't have to give up coffee, because I can't give up coffee. So I monitor the amount of coffee, because it is a trigger for me. If I drink too much, it really affects my sleep, and it just high kicks those hot flashes. But I can enjoy a couple of mugs a week, not a day. So I can do a couple of mugs a week. I usually reserve them for the weekend, and it's good. It's a balance that I've come to enjoy. So I'm glad that you haven't been able to give that up. And tell me what you were doing. I love this story. Tell me what you were doing to help with your hot flashes.
It is a funny story, because it says when you research things, oh, well, you know, eat stuff that's cold, put ice cubes in your drink. So I always had ice cream as a treat. I like ice cream, but I started to eat it like every day. And then when I started the program, I stopped or cut back substantially. And then one night, and I did it, you know, too close to bedtime, I had ice cream. And that night, it was pretty intense, the night sweat. So what I realized was that actually is a contributing factor to my lack of sleep.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
ice cream is not the way to go to cool down.
It was a good try.
It was a good try. It was yummy.
Hi, Fiona. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining. Thanks, ladies, for jumping on, the ones that have been able to come in. Yeah, so if it works, awesome. But if it doesn't, then yeah, it's not until you realize that what you've been doing you think was working was actually causing more problems. So and part of the process in the Cracking the Menopause Code method is you fill out a hormone balance assessment chart. And so how many of your symptoms did you record on this assessment chart at the beginning of the program? Excuse me. And what was the majority of the rating between mild, moderate, and severe? What did you find at the very beginning?
So you want me to go over like what's on my hormone sheet?
Yeah, so you had sent it to me. So basically it's broken down into estrogen section, and then the progesterone section, the testosterone section, your cortisol, and your thyroid. And so you had a total score in each of those areas, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So in the side, just highlight the major symptoms there that you put in the side there of the sheet.
Okay, the night sweats, aches and pains, stress, fatigue and exhaustion was high, and low libido.
Right. And then your biggest area of concern, or the ones that you struggled the most with symptoms, was your estrogen.
Yes.
You had a high score on your estrogen, which means that you're estrogen dominant.
Yeah.
And your progesterone was pretty close. It was definitely a factor as well. So you get like a whole list of symptoms, ladies, that you would have to put under measuring between mild, moderate, and severe. And you'd put a number between that to find out what your total is. So for Sherry, she was high in estrogen. Progesterone was definitely unbalanced. No issues with testosterone. You had some high numbers in your cortisol and also around your thyroid. So out of, 2, 4, 5, you were struggling in 4 areas.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So that's a really good way to take an inventory of where you're at. Were you surprised by those results when you actually saw them on the paper?
Yes, when you add them up, yeah.
Yeah, on the numbers, right? And you're like,
yeah.
Wow, I didn't realize that. So we can feel all of these things, but after a while, it just becomes a blur of symptoms and not feeling great. Like it all kind of gets lumped into this. I just don't feel great. I don't feel like myself. And it's not until you break it down.
Right, trying to figure out what's going on and why to help better understand. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So talk about, I think you touched a little bit on it, but can you talk about what your major wins were in the program?
For sure. My major wins are I do have my energy back. I don't feel like napping during the day. Rick and I we're walking every night except for twice this week because of the extreme cold. But
yeah, it's been super cold.
But that was something I couldn't do. Like by 8 o'clock, I was like ready for bed. During the weekend, I'd be doing stuff like I always do. And then, mid-afternoon, early evening, I'd want to have a nap. It was just crazy. So definitely not getting done or being as active as what I like to do. That's the biggest win. I am sleeping better, which is also a big win. I'm not waking up as often with off and on with the blanket. That's a big, so I've got reduced hot flashes. I have reduced swelling. I don't have swelling in my legs, and I definitely don't have the same pain.
Great.
That I had before. As a matter of fact, I don't have pain in my joints at all like I used to. I'm better in tune with my body and what it's going through and the things that trigger it to go off the rails, like the ice cream and it triggering a hot flash or night sweats. I have better gut health.
Great.
And I got this one I'm very excited about because I have a sluggish gallbladder and I have for years. So what I had to do was go to a low-fat diet, which was probably part of my problem going through this process. Is because I wasn't eating the things that I needed to. So I have been able to, through this transition, incorporate some of the things I've taken out without having a gallbladder attack. And I'm really
Amazing.
excited about that. Yeah. I have, things that I love to eat, but it just wasn't worth a gallbladder attack.
Yeah. That's huge. That's
But
so huge. Like you don't realize, you've just got, like you say, so used to avoiding things or not enjoying certain things because of what that's going to look like. And by transforming your lifestyle and making some changes where everything sort of begins a positive domino effect, then you get this win out of it as well, which is amazing.
it is
That's
amazing.
awesome. Yeah,
Yes.
that's great.
And another benefit, I have to say, because I have to tell everybody that when I started, I mean, part of my problem was that I would get so hungry because my body wasn't getting what it needed that my stomach would hurt, and I've never felt that. So you get to that point and you start looking for something that's quick to eat. Well, when I open a cupboard, my husband has a huge junk food cupboard. And so I have my own cupboard now. But I've also got him eating better.
Oh, that's great.
He's like, because I'm changing the way I'm cooking, he hasn't complained. He's been eating it, and some of the things I've incorporated into mine with menu planning, he's actually also doing.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
That is fantastic, actually.
Without complaining, which is even better.
Without complaining. Yeah.
That's awesome. And
Yeah.
so there's some huge wins there, like actual tangible wins that you're feeling. And were there any challenges at all?
No, the only challenge I had was just organizing myself with menu planning and making that changes as to how I was going to do the steps. But once I started, and I figured out what I was going to do for like week over week, and I'm still transitioning that, but I've made a few changes. It's not a challenge anymore. It was just, change is always hard, right?
It
is.
Just
changing. Okay, no, I'm not gonna grab that. No, this is what we need to eat tonight, and the menu planning in the program is definitely a huge help.
Yeah, it keeps you on track, right? It helps you to figure out what you want to eat. And like you say, even though it is a bit of a transition when you've got the shopping lists, and with the lockdown, it can be restrictive as to what you can access, but it's a transition. It doesn't all have to be done in that particular week. You just start implementing those changes.
Yes.
That's awesome. Yeah. I was going to say something there and then I forgot. No, it went right out of my head. I was going to ask you something when you something you said. Yeah, it's gone. But I think what's important, what you raised here, is that it is a work in progress. You are really, I know what it was. Because the other thing that's, is it because you are so more in tune now with your body and what it's going through, excuse me, and what it needs, that you're starting to make those choices that used to be difficult become easier? Because if I eat this, or if I don't sleep well, or if I am stressed, it's going to trigger some intensity or more frequent symptoms. So do you find that you're more in tune, right? Like you said.
Yeah, that was one of the notes I did in my summary was, and the more energy I felt, and the better that the healthier I felt, the more it was more determined to make sure I stay on track and to do.
Yeah, you were more motivated.
I was more motivated because I could see the difference, right?
Yeah.
And I want to be, in my 80s and still active. So.
Yeah. And it's really a cool connection when you start really going into a sort of a intercellular level of connection as to knowing now what you were doing was creating this outcome. And now by making these incremental changes over the 12 weeks, you're starting to really connect with what you're doing versus with sleep, with stress, with eating, how your body is responding. You're so much more in tune to how your body responds, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what did your husband think about this when you're going through all this? You had
Like
to
I
ask
said,
him, didn't you?
when you told me that, so I waited till we went for a walk.
Good idea.
Anyways, and said, well, so what do you think? Anyways, he said that he knew I was going through something. He didn't really know what. And, men tend to want to be fixers, and he didn't know how to help.
Okay.
But what I can say is that he's patient, and he's always been patient with me when it comes to my health or how I'm feeling overall. And he definitely sees a difference in me. Because at one point, if he'd say, go for a walk, I'd say, yeah, no. And he sees more of the way I'm supposed to be or the way I was
Yeah.
before it kind of spiraled to the point it did. So he's happy to see that that's happening.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he has noticed a difference, which is great. And like you say, when you feel happier, he sees that, and it's better for both of you.
Yeah, and in the end, that's all he wants, right? Is for me to be happy and not to. I mean, I'm sure there's times where I got kind of cranky or a little anxious or something, and I didn't respond appropriately, and he just kind of let it go, thinking, okay, yeah, she's going through something. I just don't know what. But listening to me talk about it really helped him because it helped him to better understand what I am going through. And he's been very supportive, actually.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. So, I guess really the only other thing I wanted to then check with you then is, why should other women consider or choose the Cracking the Menopause Code method? What would you give as advice as to why they should join?
My advice would be, if you want to change and you're in the same position, you don't know how to change, it is definitely worth it to see the change I've gone through in a natural way. Definitely an education to understanding what I was going through. And, I might have thought that I understood, but going through the program, I realized that I didn't really know. Definitely there's tools in there for menu planning and recipes, which is a huge help for me. I need that kind of organization. There's tools for relaxing to help reduce stress. Tips and I already said that.
Just checking our notes.
Yeah, sorry, I just did crib notes just to,
Oh, yeah.
I did this when
Absolutely.
I summarized, when I finished the 12 weeks, I did my own summary for my own, just to organize my thoughts.
Yeah, yeah.
The coaching sessions and having the experience to help guide you through it, to answer any questions, to help you with the next steps, or to make a decision as to like I don't know how to say this, but like, I know I've asked you, so should I go on this or should I go on this one? And us talking about it, and then having that experience has been awesome. I was talking to a friend a couple of days ago, actually, and I was telling her about it and what I've been transitioning through, and she's very excited. And she made the quote, and it's true. I mean, our health is the most valuable thing that we have, and you can't put a price on your health.
That's right.
And that was what she quoted when I said our health is the most valuable thing we have. She says, and you can't put a price on your health.
It's true. It is true. And it is, it does require an investment of it, like a financial investment, a money, or a time investment, a commitment to yourself over the 3 months. But do you feel like this will be something that you will be able to pull from consistently? Because you have, when you purchase the Cracking the Menopause Code method program, you have access to it for as long as it's there. So I will continue to keep updating it, adding new tools and adding new content. And you have access to that for as long as it's there. So it doesn't, after 12 weeks, it doesn't just go away. You no longer can see all that. You can store all of your tools and resources in that program, and you can just access it at your will. So do you feel like that's something that the changes you've made, are you confident that you can sustain those changes?
I'm very confident. I
That's
see the change, and if this is what I need to do to be on track and to have better health, this is, yeah, we're going canoeing this summer.
That's
For
awesome.
2 to 3 weeks, and I don't want to feel like I can't portage.
Yeah, but that's super cool because you're also going to know what to pack. You're also going to know when you're putting your food packs together, and the sources of energy that you're going to need, the fiber, the protein, all that that you need, the fats, all that you need to keep you energized. And what's really important about this program too is, although it's not the whole meal planning concept around it is not to drive the weight loss, because I don't want this to be a diet. I don't want you to feel restricted. I want it to be intuitive. I want this program to be about you learning how to intuitively respond to your body's needs and use the tools and the learnings in that program to then really be in sync with what your body needs, so that you can bring it to its natural balance without pharmaceutical intervention, without hormone replacement therapy. That doesn't have to be your only option. And even if you are on any of those medications, I know that there has been a woman that I worked with who came off of several of her medications by working with me, because you start to put into your body those natural changes that the medication is no longer required. And so I think that it's really important to know that the program is driven not about reducing what you should be doing, but about actually improving how you're living, not giving up all the things you love, right? Not having to give up coffee, like you said, not having to give up what you want when you want it. You just have to know how your body responds to it, and then you adjust it accordingly, because you don't like feeling that way. So why would you do something that's going to make you feel rotten? That's awesome. Thank you. So I think that's it. Those are the main questions that you and I had talked about. And unless you have anything else to chat, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for sharing everything that you went through. You were amazing to work with. She was a great student, and just really positive and responsive to the changes, and you just dove in there. And I think that's why that's what I wanted to say. Compared to where you are when you started to where you are now, that hormone assessment balance chart that you redid now, where are your totals? So where were your totals to begin with?
127.
That was your total. And now what's your total?
45.
45. So she went from the 127 points in severity and in frequency to 45. And do you have are all your symptoms mild? Do you have any severe or moderate now?
No, I don't have any moderate or severe. They're all in the lower scale.
Yeah. So that's the intensity and the frequency is lower.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what did you figure that out? It was like a 65% improvement.
Yes.
Yeah, in your symptoms, which is amazing.
It is.
You should be really, really proud of yourself, because you put in all that work to get that big of an improvement. And that's what's so huge is you're going through menopause, right? Like it's a process. You don't just doesn't stop. Your hormones just don't balance, because they're always fluctuating until you get to that stabilization at that point in your life. And that is very different for many women. But by continuing to live this way, you are helping to nurture and support your hormones, so that you're not getting those wild roller coaster rides of insanity, and you're reducing the intensity and you're reducing the frequency. I still get symptoms. I still get a lot of those symptoms, but they're so much milder than they ever were, and just so much more manageable. And it's because I'm listening to my body and I know how to make those changes.
And that is a big win for me also, with you saying that, is that this is a process and a cycle that we're meant to go through. And my goal to start with, when I thought about what I wanted to do, because a lot of women I know said, oh, I went and got the patch or whatever, but I wanted, for myself, I wanted to do it in a natural way. I I didn't want to resort to having to go get a prescription. I wanted to, because then it's for the rest of my life. It's not a temporary fix.
Yeah, and you know what, that's a really, really good point. And I'm going to be talking more in the group about hormone replacement therapy, bringing up the level of understanding, and having everyone in the group understand what your options are. Everybody's going to navigate this journey extremely, extremely uniquely. Everybody goes through this their own way. So absolutely no judgment as to what you choose to decide to do, because you have to do what's best for you. But really anchoring, for me, the reason I created the group was to really anchor on the fact that we can 100% navigate this naturally, because it is a very natural process that our body goes through. And by this, cracking the menopause code method guides you step by step as to how to implement those natural changes to help support and nurture your body naturally, so that you hopefully don't have to resort, like you said, you don't have to go to the prescription route, because you can start to stabilize those symptoms and really get back to who you are as a person. And I think you should be super proud of yourself. You've really put in the effort. You've really put in the work, and you've seen like a 65% improvement in symptoms is a massive result. And that's because you stayed committed to it. So well done.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Sherry. Thank you so much for your time. Ladies, this will stay on in the group for anyone who wants to watch it. Thank you all for joining us this morning. I know Saturdays can be busy. Have a wonderful day. Thanks, Sherry. Great to see you.
Thanks.
Bye now.
Have a good day.